Hello, Morongo Basin and listeners around the world online at Z107.7 FM.com. Here is the Z107.7 local news for Tuesday, February 13th, 2024. The woman killed in a fatal motorcycle collision in Yucca Valley has been identified. On Thursday at 12:45 p.m., the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department responded to a report that a motorcycle had collided into a light pole on 29 Palms Highway near Kickapoo Trail. They report that Melanie Fontes, a 49-year-old resident of Gardena, lost control of her motorcycle, colliding into a light pole in the 55,400 block of 29 Palms Highway. The rider was pronounced dead at the scene. No other vehicles were involved in the collision, and the San Bernardino County coroner is continuing their investigation into the incident. An arrest was made in 29 Palms last week by the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Gang and Narcotics Division. Between February 3rd and February 9th, the Sheriff's Department served search warrants related to gang members and felons believed to be in possession of weapons or narcotics as part of Operation Consequences. One of those warrants was served in the 71,500 block of Florida Avenue in 29 Palms. A representative of the Sheriff's Department said that more specific information about arrests made as part of Operation Consequences could not be shared, due to possible connections to gangs, narcotics, and future investigations. In the last week, Operation Consequences led to 32 felony arrests and the seizure of 14 firearms, 2 of which were ghost guns, and suspected methamphetamine and fentanyl across the 10 search warrants countywide. The 29 Palms City Council will host a workshop tonight on block grant funding, just prior to the official meeting, before diving into an agenda featuring development code amendments and light pole upgrades at Lucky Park. Reporter Heather Clisby has more.
Tonight, the 29 Palms City Council will meet 30 minutes prior to their regular meeting for a workshop on community development block grant funding. At 5:30 p.m., the council will hear 3-minute application presentations from several local nonprofit organizations, such as Reach Out Morongo Basin, 29 Palms Community Food Pantry, Morongo Basin Unity Home, and the 29 Palms Public Library Adult Literacy Program. Next is a public hearing on amendments to the Development Code, specifically on Article 3 Administration, Permits, and Procedures. The proposed changes are to bring the city's development code into compliance with the state and correct inconsistencies. The council will then designate a delegate and alternate delegate for the Southern California Association of Governments Annual Regional Conference and General Assembly, May 2nd through 3rd in Palm Desert. Finally, the council will discuss the replacement of 22 wooden light poles and lights at the Lucky Park ball field. A singular bid from Qualight Sport Lighting was received with materials, installation, and contingencies projected to cost approximately $1.3 million. The meeting takes place on Tuesday, January 23rd at 6 p.m. at City Hall, 6136 Adobe Road. It can be live streamed or viewed on demand via the city's website, 29palms.org. Reporting for Z107.7, I'm Heather Clisby.
The Yucca Valley Planning Commission convenes tonight at 6 p.m. and addresses a relatively short agenda. Joining us with the rundown is online news editor Robert Hayden.
On the agenda for tonight's Yucca Valley Planning Commission, the former Yucca Valley Travel Lodge, now named Field Station Joshua Tree, gets another go at getting their exterior paint colors approved. At last month's meeting, the revamped motel's developers didn't submit the correct amount of exterior mock-ups and was told to come back this month with the correct amount for proper consideration. Drainage issues at Brim Park are making the fields extra soggy, especially with all the wet weather we're having. That issue, alongside new business development and construction updates, that's all happening tonight at 6 p.m. at the Yucca Room at the Yucca Valley Community Center, right off Highway 62 in Demosa. You can attend in person or check this story online for how you can attend remotely. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Robert Hayden.
The Morongo Unified School District Board of Trustees will be holding their regular 6 p.m. meeting tonight at Joshua Tree Elementary, and they'll tackle one proposal that's proved to be a little controversial. Assignment reporter Gabriel Hart has the meeting's agenda for us today.
For the meeting's agenda, Assistant Superintendent of Instructional Services Amy Woods will be recognizing the 29 Palms High School robotics team for their invite to compete in the 2024 Create US Open Robotics Tournament in March. Woods will then present the mid-year review of the Local Control and Accountability Plan, or the LCAP. a 3-year plan that describes the goals, actions, services, and expenditures to support positive student outcomes that address state and local priorities, as well as an update on California's school dashboard, which provides parents with information on school and district progress. The board is requested to approve and adopt the proposed budget calendar for 2024, as well as the MUSD Transportation Safety Plan. Action items include book approval for The Chocolate Touch, a high-interest novel to boost engagement levels while practicing and mastering grade-level standards. The board is also requested to abolish over 40 positions due to lack of work or lack of funds in a preliminary classified layoff resolution, including special education instructional assistants, 16 instructional assistant classroom positions, campus safety supervisors, and many more. It's important to note that most of the classified positions being abolished are currently vacant. The 13 positions going before the board that are currently filled are funded by the elementary and secondary school emergency relief funds, which the district was given through the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act. That funding had a timeline that is now expiring. However, all the employees affected by the layoffs have protections in their contracts and will be able to apply to the numerous classified openings available at different sites. Reporting for Z107.7, this is assignment reporter Gabriel Hart.
At tonight's 6 p.m. meeting of the Bighorn Desert View Water Agency, directors will consider an increase in fees and a decrease in days. Reporter Mike Lipsitz is here to explain.
Rapid cost increases are the source of tonight's review of service line installation fees, with recommended fee increases expected to appear on the March agenda. Also tonight, the board will consider modifying the agency's business hours to 4 days a week, 10 hours a day. In other business, the deadline for applications to fill the agency's open board seat is February 21st. Tonight's meeting takes place at the agency's board meeting office under the old water tower on Cherokee Trail in Landers. Remote participation is also an option. See this story at Z107.7fm.com for a link to the complete agenda and instructions on attending via Zoom or telephone. Reporting for Z107.7 News, this is Mike Lipsitz.
The 20th annual Parade of Homes fundraiser for Reach Out Morongo Basin begins this Sunday, February 18th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. The annual event sees Reach Out Morongo Basin supporters from all over the high desert open their homes to curious visitors, raising money for the nonprofit's services to senior and disabled residents of the Morongo Basin. There are 4 homes on the tour representing Yucca Valley, Joshua Tree, and 29 Palms. One of the homes on the tour is a beautifully converted homestead cabin situated in Yucca Valley Hills and owned by Z107.7's own Hillary Sloan. Tickets are still available for $25 each. You can find a link at this story for locations or call Reach Out Morongo Basin at 760-361-1410. If you are still shopping for a gift to show your sweetie some extra affection this Valentine's Day, online news editor Robert Hayden rejoins us with a suggestion for one present you could pop off of your list.
According to an email sent out by Southern California Edison, last year over 800,000 customers lost power in Southern California due to not rolling blackouts or ancient faulty equipment. No, these were caused by metallic balloons. You tend to see these more around graduation, Valentine's Day, and birthday parties. And if they're released, they have to come down somewhere. And if that somewhere is on a power line, the metal in the balloons can cause lines to short or explode, potentially causing outages and wildfires. If they miss a power line, they still have to hit the ground somewhere out in the Mojave Desert, creating an eyesore during deep hikes and potentially harming plants and wildlife. Some cities already have a ban on these balloons, and there will be a statewide ban of metal balloons in 2031. SCE gives tips like always weigh down balloons and deflate them before disposing of them. Those are good tips, but the best way to keep these temporary decorations from littering the desert, power lines, and landfills is to simply not buy them at all. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Robert Hayden.
And finally, blood is desperately needed in the Morongo Basin. To that end, Livestream will be holding a blood drive tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at High Desert Medical Center, located at 6601 White Feather Road in Joshua Tree. Healthy individuals at least 15 years of age may donate blood. Donors receive a free mini physical. Please set an appointment by calling Livestream at 1-800-879-4484 or visiting lstream.org. That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. If you hear news happening, let us know about it. Email us at tips@z1077fm.com. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z107.7 Local News, I'm Jeff Harmatz.